Welcome back to the lake, everybody. Today I'm going to be telling you about my creepiest fishing story. But first, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching these videos. If you could, please go ahead. If you like what you see, like the video, comment on the video. That really helps me out on YouTube and helps share these videos with more people. Today, I'm telling you about my creepiest fishing story that's ever happened to me on the water. And just to set the premise or the backdrop of this story, I was fishing a Thursday night fishing tournament. They have some of those on Lake Lanier, and small group of guys that does it every week. It's from 6:30 to 10:30 on like a Thursday night. So nothing crazy there, but about half the tournament is during the daytime, and then obviously it gets dark. About half the tournament is in the nighttime. So we were fishing, no problems, me and my tournament partner, and it was about probably 9:30. And we were coming back, getting closer to where we launched to weigh in our fish. And it's night at this point. I mean, it's pitch black, the stars are out, crystal clear skies, there's not a cloud in the sky. You can see everything, you can see planes flying in overhead and blinking and all that. And all of a sudden, out on the left side of the boat, we were running back to the ramp. We look up in the sky and there's this chain of lights. And the lights were in a continuous line and they were absolutely massive. And so the guy driving the boat put the boat down off a pad, and we just stopped and looked because this is like, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. We were in awe of what we were looking at. The more we looked at it, it was a huge string of lights that was massive in scale. I mean, it had to be a few hundred yards long, if not more. But the lights were blinking and moving in formation. I'm not kidding on this. So they were moving across the sky in formation. But as we looked at it more, we were just looking at each other trying to make sense of what this was. There were planes flying across the sky, and we could see visually, even though they weren't next to each other, that this thing was gigantic compared to them. Better yet, take a look at this picture and video that I shot on my phone. I have no clue what that is. So at this point, again, we have no idea what this is. There's this aura around the string of lights, and again, it moved in formation together. So at this point in the video, if you guys know what this is, post it in the comments below. I'm curious to think, just initially, before you know, if you know, that's great, I guess you can comment that, but if you don't know, take a guess at what this is. There is a logical explanation, but again, at this point, we have no earthly idea what this thing is. And so we watched this for about, I would say, a minute and a half, and again, it's moving in formation, this giant appearing structure, I don't even know, with lights blinking together, and it moved across the sky, and then all of a sudden, within a second, it disappeared. I'm not even kidding. Within a second, it literally vanished, this giant structure. So we look at each other, and of course you hear everything in the news. They're talking about, you know, UAPs and UFOs, and you see them with blinking lights, and they're giant ships, and there's triangles and circles and whatever. And honestly, we didn't believe any of that really, but we're looking at each other like, we have no idea what that possibly could be. So we just kind of rode back, still fished the last hour. We get back to the ramp and we start talking to people, and they ended up seeing it too. So we knew we weren't crazy. But we finally found out that these objects, or I guess this object, was many objects together. If you guys are familiar with Starlink, Elon Musk Starlink, it is a global satellite system that provides internet anywhere in the world. And what they're doing is they're actually launching strings of satellites to go into their respective places around the world. And I'll post a link in the video description below of a website where you can log on and see every satellite that is already in this mesh network of satellites around the globe. And it's kind of freaky if you look at it. It's almost like I mean, it's a full dome, literally, of connected satellites. He already has, I believe it says there's 5,000 up there right now, and their goal is to get 40,000 satellites. So pretty crazy stuff. But go check out that link, and you guys can see real time where the satellites are, where they're moving, when they were put up, and their orientation around the world. But anyway, those blinking lights turned out to be Starlink satellite launches. And there's a couple of places that they launched from, and it turns out that they launched particular satellites on that night. And it looks like that chain of lights that you guys see, and that's why it, again, moved in formation, moved across the sky, and then apparently when it breaches the atmosphere, that's when you lose visual sight of it. It's too far away, so that's why it disappeared like it did. So that's my creepiest fishing story. Like I said, for about an hour and a half, my tournament partner and I were just baffled. We could not make sense of what the heck we just saw. It was absolutely crazy. We didn't want to admit that we were thinking that it could actually be these crazy things that people see in the sky, but turns out there actually is a logical explanation. Hope you guys enjoyed this story. Thought I'd share it. It's a fun one to wonder, and then also to think of what's going on out there in terms of technology and where we're heading to in the future. Comment your craziest experience on the water as well. And again, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.